What time is it? Well, it's time for the last episode of this series. That's right, it is. Timing is everything, and this is now the time when we will do the last episode of this series. When you're seeing it, well, I'm just going to trust it's the right time for you to hear it. And I'm going to trust it's the right time for you to process it with all the other things we've talked about. And what have we talked about so far? Well, first of all, take the time to make the right decision. Second of all, be quiet and listen to God's word. Third, enlist the prayers of others. Fourth, consider what you do best. And fifth, the last point I want to give you sounds a lot like one that I gave you earlier, but listen closely. This is seek out and find the counsel of wise friends. Now, you say, but wait a minute, you already told me to enlist the prayers of others and talk to them. Yes, but this is now specifically finding out and seeking out those wise people that God has put into your world, and not just saying, pray for me as I make a decision, but now you're asking them specifically, what would you do? What do you suggest? See, that's different than asking them to pray for you. In the book of Proverbs, it says this, where there is no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. See, a lot of people are convinced that their perspective in life is the best. Here's what I know. My perspective, your perspective, it doesn't matter. What matters is God's perspective. Well, how do you find God's perspective? You go to the most godly people you know. You want to get God's perspective from people who are close and tight and listening to God. And here's what I know about your world. It's the same in my world. Not everybody you know is that tight with God. Not everybody you know is that connected. And so that's where you have to figure out who are those people, those mentors, pastors, godly counsel folks, the wisest people you know. There are times that when you're trying to figure out the timing on things, they are the best people to go to for their advice. How do you get it? You pick up the phone and you call them. You email them and ask them. You meet them face to face and have a conversation. You might even text them. There's a number of ways to connect, but there's no excuse not to. And so often the problem that we fall into is that we don't take the time to connect. And so, if you will do those things, allow those things to gel and become a part of your decision-making process, then you might discover that the timing in your life is a lot better than it was before. See, God's timing is never too late. His timing is never too early. He is always on time. And so, it's time for us to end this series. I trust that it's right on time. Timing is everything. Make sure that your time belongs to God.